This presentation will explain the proposed Request for Proposal, or RFP, for the DC Smart Street Lighting Project. My name is Catherine Roos. I'm the Interim Deputy Chief Operating Officer for the District Department of Transportation, or DDOT. I am the project manager for this project as well. I am joined today by my colleagues Trevor Langen and Devon Smith. This project is being procured with the support of the DC Office of Public-Private Partnerships, or OP3. In accordance with the Public-Private Partnership Act of 2014, we are holding this public meeting to discuss the proposed RFP prior to its transmittal to the DC Council. After a 45-day passive review period, the RFP will be issued to the three most highly qualified bidders, which were shortlisted after a request for qualifications evaluation process led by OP3. During today's meeting, we will do our best to answer your questions following the presentation via the live chat. We are also collecting public comments through Friday, January 15th. Please send your comments via email or mail to either of the addresses listed on the screen. Community feedback has been critical to the success of this project so far. We have conducted numerous stakeholder engagement events in each ward of the district. We appreciate the comments that we have already received and that have been incorporated into the RFP, and we thank you for your interest today. At a high level, the DC Smart Street Lighting Project will be a public-private partnership to convert the DDOT streetlights to energy-efficient LED technology, install a remote monitoring and control system to detect system outages, improve streetlight assets to a state of good repair, maintain the assets and respond to calls for service, and in some locations, install wireless access points in support of the DCNet public Wi-Fi program run by the Office of the Chief Technology Officer, or OCTO. All of this will be done over a 15-year performance-based contract. First, I would like to briefly discuss what a public-private partnership, or P3, is and how it relates to our project. The term public-private partnership can evoke a lot of different forms of collaboration between the government and private sectors. When we use the term to describe our project, we are referring to a particular format of infrastructure projects where a private entity designs, builds, finances, operates, and maintains an asset in exchange for payment from the government. In this project, the conversion to energy-efficient LED lights will reduce the district's energy costs. The district will compensate the private partner in the form of milestone and availability payments based on performance. In short, if the lights don't work, we don't pay. Why are we structuring the project this way? Because the private partner will finance the project, they are able to spend more money up front than the district could do on its own. In our case, we are able to speed the conversion from inefficient, high-pressure sodium and incandescent streetlights to new LEDs from 10 years to 2 years. This means 8 years of full energy savings and environmental benefits. Another great benefit of a P3 structure is performance-based contracting. A typical contract tells a vendor how to complete a project. We are able to write our contract in a way that sets goals and outcomes. We let the private sector innovate to determine their solution to the problem that meets our performance metrics at the lowest cost. Third, P3 projects are unique in how they allocate risk to the best party equipped to mitigate it. Because one entity is both designing and maintaining the project, they retain the risk of a poor design affecting the cost of maintenance years down the line. The last unique aspect I'll highlight is that, again, because the private partner is financing the project, the equity partners and lenders are highly motivated to see a successful project. Our strict performance measures are tied to financial penalties. I'll say it again, if the lights don't work, we don't pay. The nature of this relationship and the performance-driven structure is laid out in the RFP. Aside from the P3 structure itself, the scope of the project includes many important benefits to the district, its residents and visitors. First is an improved equity of service. We will no longer rely on residents to use DC 311 to report outages thanks to remote monitoring and control nodes. These nodes will be attached to each fixture and tell us when a light is not working. Second, LEDs are very energy efficient compared to our current high-pressure sodium and incandescent fixtures. We anticipate at least a 50% reduction in energy use and about a $2.5 million reduction in annual energy costs. Third, the reduced energy use means fewer carbon emissions. Our projections show an equivalent of 38,000 tons of greenhouse gases eliminated each year. Also, we are requiring a reduction in light trespass into the night sky and onto private property through the use of shielding, reducing the light pollution. And last, we have structured the RFP in such a way to incentivize preventive maintenance and achieve operational efficiencies to extend the life of our assets and reduce life cycle costs, as LEDs last 3 to 4 times longer than high-pressure sodium. This project has been in development for several years. It began in 2017 with a request for information process to gather information from the industry and gauge interest in a P3 procurement. After that, we solicited a request for qualifications process in 2018. The corresponding evaluation process determined the 3 most highly qualified bidders, which finalized in 2019. Only these teams will be allowed to respond to the request for proposals, which DDOT, OP3, and our technical consultants have worked together to develop. These documents, which we will discuss in more detail today, are the product of an iterative process with the shortlisted bidders. They have had the opportunity to review and comment on several rounds of drafts, as is typical of projects of this size and structure. The RFP is actually 3 separate documents. First, the Instructions to Proposers, or ITP, are the rules of the road for the procurement. It lays out how bidders can communicate with the district, how to submit a valid proposal, and how the proposals will be evaluated, among other things. Second, the Project Agreement, or PA, is the basis for the contract that will be signed between the district and the selected proposer. It details the structure of the public-private partnership, and it sets the rules for the legal and commercial aspects of the project over the life of the contract, which is 15 years. The last document is the Technical Provisions, or TPs. The TPs specify the engineering concepts important to the project. They also set out the performance metrics that are core to the P3. These documents are available for review on the DDOT project page. I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Trevor to discuss the ITP and the PA.
Hi, I'm Trevor Langen, and I'm the Performance Analyst for the Streetlight Division. I will discuss the Instructions to Proposers, or ITP, which is the roadmap for the procurement. But first, I'd like to review some of the unique terms we will use during this presentation. AMIS. The Asset Management Information System includes data points such as inventory, conditions, work management, vehicle logs, and performance metrics. Bidder. 3 highly qualified shortlisted bidders were selected after a competitive request for qualifications process. They are DC Smart Lighting Partners 2, MAB Smart Solutions, and Plenary Infrastructure DC. These teams are consortiums of multiple companies. Developer. The preferred bidder will become the developer, which finances and delivers a project after commercial and financial closings are complete. RMCS. The Remote Monitoring and Control System provides real-time remote monitoring and reporting of the performance of the luminaires in the streetlight network by communicating to individual nodes connected to each light. Now on to the ITP. The ITP lays out the process for selecting the proposer. The preferred bidder will be selected on a best value basis, which means that price is one factor in the proposal evaluation process but not necessarily the determining factor. The district will consider each bidder's price and technical plan for carrying out the work, based on financial and technical evaluation criteria set out in the RFP, to determine which proposal offers the best overall value to the district. The ITP sets the requirements for the technical submittal. There are 5 major parts, each with specifications for formatting and content. Part 1 is the executive summary and administrative submittal. Part 2, preliminary performance plans. Part 3, conceptual design narrative and visualizations. Part 4, preliminary project baseline schedule. Part 5, attachments, which includes key personnel resumes, conceptual design and visualizations, and preliminary project baseline schedule. After the technical submittal, the bidders will send their financial submittal. This, of course, includes their total estimated cost for the project, but it will also submit documentation of their financial capacity, which includes their credit ratings. They will submit their financial plan, which includes P3 concepts such as the cash flow waterfall and the breakdown between equity and debt. And third, they will send us their preliminary financial model. This model will show how the milestone and availability payments will be shaped over the project term. The last major piece of the ITP is the evaluation process. The district will select review committees to score both the technical and financial proposals. Examples of evaluation criteria include conversion schedule, staffing plans, traffic management, energy efficiency, quality assurance, and creditworthiness. The maximum financial score is 700 points, and the technical is 300 for a total of 1,000 points. Next, we will discuss the project agreement, or PA, at a high level. The PA forms the basis for the contract between the district and the preferred bidder. Once the contract is approved and signed, the preferred bidder becomes the project developer. The PA sets out the developer's obligations. The developer must abide by all applicable district and federal standards and specifications. They must also comply with all governmental approvals, such as the environmental, like NEPA, and historic preservation, like Section 106 requirements. The developer will provide performance and payment bonds as security for the completion of the conversion work and the prompt payment to subcontractors. The PA includes the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, or DBE, participation goals for both the conversion work and the asset management work, and detailed requirements regarding the hiring of DBE subcontractors. The district's payments to the developer for asset management work are performance-based. The financial implications of the project's strict performance regime are housed in the PA. Payments are subject to deductions if the developer fails to satisfy performance metrics set out in the project agreement. For example, the developer will have 5 days to repair a routine light outage. These metrics cover all aspects of asset management, including the timely response to service requests, preventative maintenance and repair standards, and continual monitoring and maintenance of the streetlights. Additionally, the developer could be subject to other deductions. One deduction is possible in the event that electricity consumption is greater than forecast, ensuring that the developer is incentivized to keep energy costs down. And another deduction is possible in the event of unplanned obstruction to district roadways, bicycle paths, and pedestrian walkways, ensuring that the developer is incentivized to avoid disruption to district commuting patterns. The unique elements of this project's financial structure are laid out in the project agreement. The district's payments to the developer for work during the conversion period are milestone-based, meaning the district will pay the developer only after the developer has completed specified amounts of work. This incentivizes early completion of conversion work. The project agreement includes a change order mechanism that allows the district to modify the developer's scope of work as needed during the project term of the project agreement to address the district needs, including the addition of new streetlights. Additionally, private activity bonds, or PABs, allocation has been sought and approved for the project in order to enable efficient financing. PABs are tax-exempt bonds issued by or on behalf of a state or local government for the purpose of providing special financing benefits for qualified projects. Important to the structure of a P3 project are sections on replacement and termination found in the PA as well. The PA agreement includes provisions that allow the district to take additional action if the developer experiences chronic underperformance, including requiring the developer to replace key personnel or subcontractors, and if the developer is unable to improve its performance, termination of the project agreement. I'm now going to hand it over to my colleague Devon to discuss the technical provisions of the RFP.
Hi, I'm Devon Smith. I'm the Streetlight P3 Contract Manager. I'm going to discuss the engineering concepts related to the P3 project. The third and final document of the RFP is the technical provision. The TPs include the engineering, performance, and other technical specifications of the project. It covers both the conversion and the asset management period. First, let's discuss the specifications that cover the entire project term. In their proposals, the bidders will have to demonstrate how they will fulfill each of these requirements if selected to be the developer. Overall requirements for streetlight management include responding to calls for service within 48 hours, providing continuous access to and properly functioning of all elements of the street lighting network to the district, keeping an accurate asset inventory in the GIS format with condition ratings, assessment characteristics, and recent photos, maintaining asset elements such as foundation, bases, poles, arms, fixtures, in a condition rating of fair or better. The safety of the public and those using our transportation systems is vitally important for DDOT. The TPs require the developer to provide adequate levels of illumination in public space for vehicular, cyclists, and pedestrian traffic, and general public safety while limiting light pollution and light trespass. Ensuring the safety of the public and accurately prioritizing the safe travel of motorists, cyclists, and pedestrians in the public space. Placing the highest priority on works to remedy imminent risks to public health and safety. The TPs lay out requirements for performance-based operations. The developer will be required to use the Asset Management Information System, AMIS, and Remote Monitoring Control Systems, RMCS, to improve the overall performance and drive efficiency in monitoring, measuring, and reporting. Partner, cooperate, collaborate amongst themselves with the district, Pepco, Verizon, and other third parties who are stakeholders in the street lighting network. To achieve the environmental and financial benefits of the project, the developer will be required to reduce and minimize the energy demand of the streetlight network during the contract term and beyond, ensuring the proper long-term functioning and performance of the streetlight network, reduce and minimize the life cycle costs of street lighting network during and after term. Next, let's discuss the goals and specifications of the conversion period. This is the first 2 years of the project. As a reminder, the scope of work for this period includes converting to LED and installing RMCS on all 75,000 fixtures across all 8 wards of the district, standing up the AMIS, which is the central oversight and work management system used by the developer with oversight from the district, completing the state of good repair work. This is where poles, foundation, bases, arms will be brought up to a condition of fair or better, and installing wireless access points on behalf of Octo at 239 sites, mostly in wards 5, 7, and 8. This conversion also gives us an opportunity to install consistent and pleasant light across the district. We have incorporated stakeholder feedback and included the following commitments in the RFP. First, the correlated color temperature of the LEDs will be no cooler than 3000 Kelvin, which is considered warm white light. We will require most lights and all of those in residential areas to be 2700 Kelvin or extra warm white. Secondly, we will require all fixtures to have the ability to be shielded to reduce light trespass onto private property. We will make significant strides to reduce uplight by reducing it to 0 for Cobra Head style fixtures and shielding 90% uplight on Washington Globe style fixtures. Third, the RMCS will allow us to dim fixtures in response to neighborhood requests. All these requirements will reduce light pollution and allow us to meet the needs of each neighborhood. We developed a systematic approach to identify where specific lumen output and color temperature will be used. The delivered lumens are the unit of measurement used to measure the total quantity of visible light emitted by a light source per unit of time. Simply put, the lumen output determines the brightness of the fixture. Land usage was identified as commercial, intermediate, and residential. In addition to land use, roadways were identified as interstate, freeway, principal arteria, minor arteria, collector, local, and alley. Color temperature and lumen output varies between not only roadway and land use, but different pole styles. Spacing and height also plays a role in light distribution. This systematic approach is consistent with the lighting design guidelines of the American Association of State Highway Transportation Officials, or AASHTO. The range of delivered lumens vary based on style of fixture and represents maximum lumen levels that will be allowed for each roadway and land usage type. Light will have the ability to be dimmed below these levels. We want to ensure that residents are aware of conversion and construction work happening in their neighborhoods. We have set the following requirements of the project developer: informing and fostering an understanding and support of the project stakeholder and public throughout the term, communicating to and notifying residents through project website, and material drop-off at stakeholders before neighborhood work commences. Minimizing the risk of potential damage to, disturbance of, or destruction of district third-party properties. Minimize inconveniences and disturbances to the district residents and businesses who own or occupy premises adjacent to project sites. Related, adequate construction management is essential. The developer will be required to minimize disturbances to and interference with the normal flow of pedestrian, bicyclist, and vehicular traffic. Comply with prohibited work times during rush hour along major roads, sidewalks, and bike lanes. For an example, rush hour for this project runs Monday through Friday from 7 to 9:30 in the morning and 4 o'clock to 6:30 in the evening. During conversion, the developer will be responsible for preserving the quality and historic nature of our assets. The TPs require responsible stewardship of the streetlight network to deliver quality performance and aesthetics, and preservation of historical, architectural, and aesthetic significance of the district. We have received a ruling of no adverse effect per Section 106 of the Federal Historic Preservation Law. This ruling recognizes that our project will make no changes to pole placement, pole style, or luminaire style, and DDOT has committed to a maximum color temperature of 3,000 Kelvin, with most fixtures being 2,700 Kelvin. Smart City Technologies is an exciting new frontier in public infrastructure. For this project, RMCS nodes must be able to detect and report outages, dim fixtures remotely, and monitor power usage. On behalf of the DC Office of Chief Technology Officer, OCTO, wireless access points will be installed to extend the reach of DCNet public Wi-Fi. The bidder will propose smart city bundles separately from the LED conversion bundles. This project scope does not include the installation of sensors, cameras, or microphones on our assets. Lastly, I will discuss the specifications for the final year of the project, which we call the asset management period, as well as the handback to the district at the end of the project term. During the asset management period, the developer will be responsible for operating and maintaining the improved network. During this time, they will adhere to strict timelines for repair. 2 hours for make safe work, 72 hours for lights out with current, 15 days for lights out without current, 30 days for lights out without current conduit repair needed. The developer will be required to perform full condition assessments at set intervals. Financial penalties will be assessed for assets below fair condition. Over time, the network will expand and change. The developer will be required to inspect new and improved assets resulting from streetscape and development projects. They will maintain an accurate account of the assets in the network, their specifications and conditions. Before the end of the project term, they will be subject to an independent engineer assessment of the entire network. The developer will be required to hand over the network in a state of good repair. They will be required to make any necessary repairs to ensure this smooth handback at the end of the contract to the district and its future vendors. I'd like to turn it back over to you, Catherine.
Thanks, Devon and Trevor. Before we close and answer your questions submitted via the live chat, I want to highlight the project's next steps. Here is a high-level timeline for the remaining milestones of the procurement. After today's meeting and public comments, we will submit the RFP documents to the Council. Per the P3 Act, they have a 45-day passive review period. Once that period is complete, we will send the RFP to the 3 highly qualified shortlisted bidders. They will develop their technical and financial proposals and send them to us in April and May, respectively. We will complete our evaluation and select a preferred bidder by the end of July. With the preferred bidder in place, Council must then actively approve the project agreement. If it is approved, we will have a 2-stage closing. First, we will close on the commercial terms of the project, and 1 month later, we will close on the financial terms. By spring or summer of 2022, the work will begin. Thank you for joining us. For those who are joining live, we are going to answer questions collected from the live chat feature. Please note that all comments about the RFP should be sent to DDOT via email or mail at either of the addresses listed on the screen by Friday, January 15th, 2021. Thank you.